Happy Sunday, everyone. How are you all doing? Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Although I'm a little confused in the morning because it's kind of cool, and then I'm thinking, what should I wear? And I have to go through this whole process, and then I go outside, and it's hot. And then if I stay around too long outside, then it's very windy, and everything's blowing everywhere. And so it just causes this dilemma of, like, what's happening here? No, I love it. I love the weather. I love the fact that it's still cool in the morning and cool in the evening, because we'll get to that point in our summer where it's hot all day and all night. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you for joining us here today. Thank you for all of you who are here present. Thanks to all of you who are joining us on Facebook or on YouTube. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, however you identify with gender, politics, race, age, color, culture, religion, or no religion, you are welcomed here. Wherever you come from, we always say, somebody said that when you ask somebody, where are you from, that it could be insulting or aggressive, But I'm not saying that wherever you come from to be that. I want to say that wherever you come from in this universe, you are welcomed here. Because we are a welcoming, diverse community. And we love you just the way that you are. By you joining us, it just makes our world so much richer, more beautiful, and absolutely sacred. So I'm really grateful for you all joining us today. And if you are on Facebook, and you can, just send a little hello out, and let us know that you're there. Let us know where you're joining us from. I also want to do a shout out to Stephen. Stephen reached out to me this morning or last night, I'm not sure what time it was, when he sent a text saying hello, and that he misses us, and that he is watching, on Facebook and YouTube. And so I just wanted to give him a big hello and share the love, because we love him dearly. And I'm grateful, again, thankful that he reached out. So I'd like to invite Tiffany Lee to come up and read our announcements. Sorry.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here on this holiday weekend. So we're going to start with our fundraisers. Well, actually, it's the community garden boxes. Right now, if you guys go out there and see, the plants are growing nicely. There's a white picket fence laying around it. It's laying down. I need volunteers to help stand it up. It'll look really nice. We need some strong men to dig holes. And if you donate money, if you write a check, write that. It goes to the garden fund so that they know where it goes, or you can give cash, or you can drop off some plants that you're like, hey, grow these watermelons. Okay. Current events. We are calling all volunteers. Our community grows stronger because of the love and participation of each person who says yes to serving. We currently are looking for volunteers to help support our center and upcoming events. Whether you have a little bit of time or a lot, your presence will truly make a difference. We really need your help. If you feel called to contribute in some way, we would be so grateful for you to join us. You can come towards me, ask me, or sign up on a sheet in back and just say to volunteer. You'll get signed, and what you want to help with. Dina Efferson-Williams will strengthen your mind and body with her yoga classes every Saturday morning at 9. A $20 love donation is gratefully accepted. Our Authentically Me Women's Group meets today at 2:30. Each moment in this group is designed to bring joy and laughter into your life. This group meets every fourth Sunday of every month. So, sign up for the Stories We Inherited, a healing meditation on family patterns and the narrative we were handed. On Wednesday, May 27th, that's this Wednesday, 7 p.m. in Friendship Hall, a 90-minute guided healing meditation experience that invites participants to look honestly at the family narrative, unspoken rules, inherited beliefs that quietly shape our daily lives, presented by Coach Offie. Love donations of $35. I went last month, and it was pretty amazing, actually. My favorite, Stacy's Blue Moon Sound Bath, is on Saturday, May 30th at 7 p.m. Sonically connect to the moon with crystal singing sound bowls. This meditation experience is amazing and costs only $20 of a love donation. And Wednesday, June 4th at 6 p.m., the Spanish language study group is facilitated by Reverend
Yay.
Esperanza Ramos.
Come on, come on.
I can't speak Spanish. It's June 4th at 6. Oh, June 6th at 7:30.
I don't have a calendar.
Yeah. Sunday, June 14th is our Juneteenth celebration. After service at 2:30, a celebration of freedom, culture, community, and joy. Bring your family and friends as we celebrate heritage, hope, and the power of community together with food and fun. Our monthly men's group meets on Tuesday, June 16th at 6 p.m. The men's group is a place where men can share their experience, strength, and wisdom with peers, showing support for each other through difficult situations, nurturing relationships and fellowship, and how to build fences and gardens. Thursday, June 18th from 7 to 8:30 is super fun, Ecstatic Dance with Stacy, a fun and sober space to freely express yourself through movement. Everyone, all ages and backgrounds are welcome, with music and sound that facilitates emotional release and joy. The cost is only $25. And then Sunday, this is fun, June 21st at 2:30, Jamie Lula, award-winning singer, songwriter, and performer artist, recording artist, and teacher, will provide our music for service. And afterwards, we'll have a concert. Cost is $25, love donation. He's supposed to be great. Invite your friends. To everything, invite people. And on Saturday, June 27th at 1 p.m., Reverend Jessica Fish facilitates a Zoom bereavement support group. Click on the art in the weekly email bulletin or go to the website for more information. Compassionate care. If you know of anyone in our spiritual community that is having health challenges, in the hospital or otherwise in need of support, please contact Joan McLaughlin. She'll be here soon. Is anyone here for the first time? No, I recognize all your beautiful faces. But welcome back. And if you're experiencing any issues, there's a 2-minute tune-up with our practitioners after service, which is a prayer, and you can have more than 2 minutes. Your silence and respect is appreciated during this time when leaving the sanctuary. So basically, as they come up for prayer, you guys quietly leave and back and go eat some snacks. Okay, now it's time for the center singer.
Tiffany, thank you. Tiffany knows how to multitask. Are you ready?
Ready.
Now you're the singer.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? We're doing Swing Wide the Doors. So we get one, this is our last weekend. No. We have one more weekend. So sing these songs. Remember, I notice what happens with me, because I'm learning songs all the time, is they're running in my head in the background all the time. So it's like this continued mantra that affirms the memory to remember that it's all about love and laughter and joy. So let's go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. here for, and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside, and now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smile. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Here we go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Now, I ask Miriam to come up and help with the lighting of the flames of faith, this call to service. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the 9th candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for those who are as yet unaware of spirit in their lives, and for the space we are holding for them here at the center. As we light the healing candles, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. Thank you, Miriam. Today's inspirational message is from the guide from the Spiritual Living Science of Mind magazine, and it's a little bit unusual. It's called Murphy's Dogma, and Dr. Bob Lucian is carrying a message from his dog for us. So this is Murphy, the dog, speaking. Some think I'm a little dog. They haven't seen me. On the inside, where life is lived, I am as tall as a Great Dane, as strong as a bulldog, and as loving as a Labrador retriever. I am as loyal as a war dog, as graceful as a Great Pyrenees, and as clever as a street dog. I am as resourceful as a coyote and as determined as a Rottweiler. I have the social grace of a standard poodle and the wisdom of a border collie. I dream the dreams of every dog. I live to love and love to live. I have no shame. I run until I drop, sleep until I'm rested, and eat until my bowl is empty. I love being touched, admired, and held close. I love to run loose and explore. I love to play and play and play. I love your bed as much as you do. On the outside, we each look very different. On the inside, we are very much the same. Deep down inside where wisdom lives, we have always known this truth. Today, I celebrate a you that few have seen. I celebrate your unbounded love, courage, and the way you like to play. I celebrate your inside life, a life few will ever see. Cherish your rich, vibrant inner life. Deep down, where wisdom lies, we can all feel our oneness and love our differences. So that's the wisdom of Murphy today. Let us pray. Spring is here, kind of a footnote here in the Southern California, not the major rebirth that they have in the snow belt. Still, the longer days are welcome, and we can see the divine plan unfolding again this year. Seasons are visible signs of God in action. We can use these outward movements to fuel our inward movements. We can let go and let God. Trust ourselves. Dare to change. I know that we have the divine power in ourselves and the divine wisdom to use that energy and strength. We are expressions of divinity sitting at a banquet of life. I am so grateful for this knowing and this community. My heart is filled with joy. As I release this word to law, together we say, and so it is. Center Singers.
Thank you, Bruce. And so it is. There's Only Love by Michael Gott and Karen Drucker. In this moment, in this place, I remember I am that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
Thank you. Thank you, Center Singers. Thank you, everybody who's in service today. You know, I want to express some gratitude for people in our sound booth in the back, Aaron and Bonnie. Yay, yes. For our ushers, we have Dean and Christine. And of course, our marvelous practitioner, who is Bruce, who just went down there. And our center singers and our music director, Stacy Justice. We have a great service for you guys today. I hope you enjoy it. I know it's a holiday weekend, so thank you for being here and, you know, all those invitations I'm waiting for, barbecues and all that good stuff, you know, as we move forward into the rest of the week. Last week, you know, I had briefly touched on science of mind treatment, and then we talked a little bit about the principle, you know, the law of cause and effect. And for some reason, that kind of stayed with me. You know, it just kind of stayed with me, and I just kept thinking about it, and cause and effect, and how does it show up in our life? What do we do with it, you know? And I had a great conversation with my daughter because she is studying to be an alcohol and drug counselor, and she's taking a lot of psychology classes right now. And mental health is like her thing. She just loves it. You know, she loves the studying of the mind and all this stuff. And so she was sharing something with me on why people who are taking medication or being treated for mental health start to feel better and then they stop taking the medication. And I thought to myself, because as long as we are thinking, this is where the similarity was in Science of Mind and what she was talking about. Because the moment that things start to get better, we don't think we need this anymore, because now we're over here and we're feeling better. And it's the same thing, and that's why every time you go to the doctors and the doctor gives you antibiotics for something, they always say, make sure you finish all the antibiotics. Because have you ever had a toothache or something, and somebody says, oh, hey, I have some antibiotics. I have like 6 pills, When we know that a regimen is usually 10 or 14, days, right? So they didn't finish taking it. Another similarity is when people get migraines. Sometimes they tell you when you get a migraine, or when you start to have symptoms of a migraine, immediately, as soon as you feel those symptoms, even if they're very mild, take your medication. Because if you don't treat it, it's going to just get worse, right? And all of this brought me back to this cause and effect. Because I just thought, this principle itself is so simple, it's so profound, but it's life-changing. It's like everything we learn in Science of Mind. They're simple principles, but they're life-changing. And they're sometimes easier said than done, because we can repeat them forever and ever, and yet if we are not practicing and putting them into practice every day and being conscious and aware of what we're doing every day, then we end up back over here before we start a treatment for anything. So I'm going to talk a little bit about treatment today as well. So our topic today is the hidden cause. And so the hidden cause, meaning cause and effect, right? So what is the hidden cause that is causing the effect that we're not even aware it's there, or we're not aware how we're relating to it, or how we're showing up with it? But you know what? I had started something a few weeks ago, and I forgot to do it again this morning. So before we get real deep into this conversation, get up and say hello to everybody. Share some love. Go shake somebody's hand, go give somebody a hug, and say, I know that this day is beautiful because of you. And for those of you who are on Facebook or watching us on YouTube, just know that we're sharing this love with you too. It is a beautiful day because you are in it. I'm starting to get the feeling that this is why you come on Sundays now. Gotta go get my little. Like that? I have no idea what I'm doing. But welcome back, everyone. I think you guys come on Sunday because you just love that part, huh? You love socializing, saying hello, spreading the love. I love it too. I love to even just watch it. And I love grabbing that little thing, just banging on it. Let's just make some music, right? So coming back to this idea of the hidden cause, of that cause and effect. When I started learning Science of Mind, I was a little confused with the cause and effect, because for some reason, I thought the effect in my brain, and I always say, oh, maybe it's because English is my second language and I didn't quite get it. But I would think about how the effect caused something. So this is how I kind of grasped it at the beginning, and that was backwards, right? I had it mixed up. So it's the cause that is giving us the effect, right? So it is that thing that we have inside of us that is expressing outside of us, okay? And so we talk about this because we like to just reinforce, what is showing up in our life, okay? So I was thinking about it and thinking about this whole consciousness thing. You know, we have the subconscious and we have the conscious, and sometimes we think that because we're saying something, that it is where we are in consciousness. But the reality is that the minute we say something like, God, I would just love to have this new relationship. And then my subconscious is saying, yeah, I don't know, you're not very lovable. Or, you know, you're so difficult, or you're so stuck in your ways, you know? So we go back into that whole thing where we begin to desire something and to want something, and yet we kind of subconsciously talk ourselves out of it. That is the hidden cause. You know, we say, I know that I want this, and I've been praying for this, and I've been asking for this to unfold in my life, and yet, for some reason, it's not happening. So what am I doing? You know, what we're doing is that we're planting weeds instead of roses. You know, so every seed that we plant is going to grow according to its nature. So if I plant tomatoes, I'm going to get tomatoes. I can stand over them all day long and pray, please, 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 come out, cucumber, you know. But the cucumber is not going to come out because I planted tomatoes. And so it's the same thing in consciousness. You know, we plant that which we see in our life. And sometimes I think that's where I got confused, because I was thinking about planting what I see in my life, like they say, you know, you are what you reap what you sow, right? And so then I'm thinking, well, if I'm seeing this is the effect. What am I planting? I had a really hard time figuring that out. You know, like, what am I planting that has given me this? Garden of weeds, you know. I had a lot of gardens of weeds in my life. And I love this topic because this is what changes in our life. You know, when we are able to have the awareness and be able to see that what we are planting is what we are getting, the wonderful thing about this is that we can always change what we plant. Okay? So we don't have to be stuck in this place of limitation, of being victims to life, of being stuck with what I planted yesterday. No. I can forget about what I planted yesterday, and I can plant something new today. But I got to plant it in consciousness. I have to be able to begin with what I have in here, what I'm feeling, what I'm emotionally, being able to share with the universe what I'm thinking, where am I vibrating? Because if I'm thinking of all these wonderful things, but I'm vibrating kind of way down here because I'm not real sure. We talked about that self-doubt. We talked about the collective doubt, where we fall into that trap of limited beliefs, not believing ourselves, not understanding ourselves, not thinking that we're good enough, not thinking that we can do it, not thinking that any of it is possible for us. So we vibrate at that level, and what we want to do, we want to change our thoughts, we want to move into the consciousness of knowing who we are so that we can vibrate at this level. We want to change our vibration. I used to do a class for kids, with children with hemophilia. You guys know that I worked as a health educator for kids with hemophilia. And one of the things that we did was to teach them how to be more assertive, how to have self-confidence, how to be able to speak and say, talk about what they want in life, and to be good with that. And so we did an exercise where I told them, I want you to stand right here. And I want everyone, so everybody's standing kind of like in this half a circle, and I said, I want all of you guys to just start yelling out a bunch of negative things. You're stupid, you're ugly, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too skinny. blah, 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 and we went on and on and on. And I said, okay, stop. It's like, how does that feel? And they were all like, like obviously it didn't feel good, right? And I said, okay, so now we're going to jump over here. And we're going to start with, I love you, you are so beautiful, you are perfect just the way you are. You can achieve anything. We started throwing out they all did it, they all participated in this positive, affirming words to ourselves, right? And at the end of that, I said, okay, stop. So how does that feel? And they're like, wow, they're standing up tall, they feel really good. It's the same thing with cause and effect. We know when we are thinking, speaking, feeling in an energetic flow that is below the standard of where we want to be. Like we can feel that. It doesn't matter. So we have to remember that the conditions we experience are expressions of consciousness operating through the spiritual law of cause and effect. Let me say that again. Everybody's looking at me like, you're not getting it. No. The conditions we experience are expressions of consciousness operating within spiritual law. The spiritual law doesn't change. The spiritual law is always the same. So when we compare this a lot to gravity, right? We say gravity is gravity. It doesn't matter how many times you throw the ball up in the air, it's going to come down. Because gravity, the spiritual law, is always working. It's the same thing with cause and effect. The spiritual law of cause and effect is always working, whether if you believe it or not. It doesn't really matter. Because it's going to say yes to you no matter what you're thinking. No matter what your consciousness is saying, it's going to keep saying yes. Would you like more? I'm having a difficult day. Would you like more? I want to eat this pie. Would you like more? It's always saying yes. So we have to consider the fact that if our consciousness is asking for stuff and the universal law of cause and effect is always saying yes, what do we want to have in consciousness? What do we want in there? And then we have to think about, okay, well, I know I want this, but how do I get there? How do I get there? Because all my life, something has been happening. I'm always waiting for the next shoe to fall. I know that that's good for them over there, So that's what has to change. That stinking thinking, right? So that stinking thinking is what's in our consciousness, and it's what's showing up in our life. And it sounds difficult, but you just do one thing at a time. When you look in the mirror, you can say, wow, you are beautiful. Or you can look in the mirror and say, oh my God, you got wrinkles. Okay? So it doesn't matter, what we want to, how we do it. The universe is always saying, yeah, you are beautiful, or you're just wrinkled. It comes from us. It's internal. It always starts from within. We understand God to be, in this philosophy anyway, we believe that God is not a punishing God. God is not selecting, oh, you receive something and you receive something, but no, not you, and not you, for whatever reason. So we don't believe that in this philosophy. We believe that God is an infinite intelligence, it's infinite love, infinite presence, and it's expressing through you. So Carlos said this the last time when he was here, where he was saying, God was so excited that he created Stacy because he wanted to experience life through Stacy. And he created Gerardo. And he created Bruce, right? Because God, wanted to experience life through each individual that is here, through each individual in this world. But just as God has created you in that beautiful image of itself, it has also gifted you with the attributes and the characteristics that it has. So what does that mean? It means that if the Creator has created you in its image, then you too are a creator. You are a creator in life. You are a creator in your own life. You are a creator in this beautiful universe of cause and effect. So we are always creating. We are always creating all kinds of stuff, you know? And I don't know about you, but my mind goes all over the place sometimes. You know, sometimes I have to catch it. I have to run up to it and catch it and say, what are you thinking? But the joy of it all, I think, and the wonderfulness, is that a word? The wonderfulness, the beauty of this teaching is that we know that it doesn't matter where you were a minute ago. Because in this minute, in this moment, you can change what you were thinking a minute ago. So a minute ago, if you were thinking limitation and you know, all those negative things, then in this moment you can flip the switch, you can turn the page, flip the coin, whatever we want to call it, plant a new seed. You know, you can do all of those things to change your reality today. Who wants to do that? Yeah? You know, the spiritual law is impartial, you know, and I've been talking about that, how it doesn't matter what you have in consciousness, it's going to give you whatever you want. That's another concept to kind of, it's difficult to grasp, right? It's like, what? Well, shouldn't God just give me the good stuff? You know? But God is you. You know, God is acting through you as you. You have the power. So it's not up to an outside entity to create for you or to give you. It is up to you to create in consciousness that which you want, desire in life. So, you know, sometimes I've heard it said that science of mind is not for the weak at heart. Because when you come here, you start to learn, and, you know, we start to teach that you are responsible for what you think, what you say, what you do, what you create in your life. And some people don't want that. I mean, I don't know, sometimes I don't want it. I want to be able to turn it over and have somebody else create life for me, just create the picture that I'm painting in my head. Well, someone else is, me, the God within me, the power within me, the God that has been gifted to me is creating that. But we don't always understand that because we grow up and we grow up in a society. Sometimes we grow up in different religious faiths. Sometimes we grow up in family culture. You know, I know for me, for Mexican culture, you know, my mother always said, si Dios quiere. So if God wants to, you will be able to go there, or you will be able to have this, you know. And so today, when I hear someone say that to me, I say, oh yeah, Dios todo el tiempo quiere. Dios todo el tiempo dice que sí, meaning that God is always saying yes. So they're saying, well, if God's willing, if God wants, and I say, yes, God always says yes, you know. And so I think that culturally, you know, we have picked up a lot of this stuff, right? And I'm sure it's in a lot of different cultures that everybody's experienced something in their family or whatever it is. And so we have to unlearn a lot of the things that we learned in our life in order for us to be able to move forward and learn and take responsibility for cause and effect. So someone might look at cause and effect and say, no, I don't have to worry about that. God does it, you know. I don't have to worry about those things because someone else is in charge of me. And when I started Science of Mind years ago, I don't know, my first class, I think in practitioner training, I wrote a poem talking about the puppet master. And I said something about, you know, and I don't have it, so I can't read it for you or recite it, but it was about this puppet master, that was, like one of those little puppets, telling me when to dance, or I danced when it wanted me to dance, or I did what it wanted me to do. That was an old belief. That was an old belief that I had, that it was all up to this superior being that was ruling my life. I never for once thought that I was responsible for ruling my life, that I was the one that was responsible for what I was thinking, doing, and saying, or feeling, or where I'm vibrating. I know people who are experiencing levels of depression, right? And for them, in their experience, they're waiting for someone to heal them of this, right? And I think, yes, we often do need external help. Like we always talk about, in Science of Mind, we say, yeah, I want to treat and I want to move my feet. So I will treat, for better health, better whatever that I need in this moment, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to go see the doctor or the mental health provider or whoever it is that can help me move this along. If it's an herbal doctor, if it's a little acupuncture, if it's a massage, if it's some energy medicine, if it's something that is going to enhance whatever it is that I'm already needing in my physical, emotional, and spiritual body, then I say yes to it. Because it is my responsibility to take care of myself and to learn how to do that. And so when we say be responsible for the cause and effect in your life, it's not so you can feel bad. In no way do we want you to look at it and say, oh my God, I have created such a horrible life for myself, Absolutely not. That's not where we're at. We don't blame. We don't do any of that. I remember also, you hear probably, lots of you have heard this, like, well, you made your bed, girl, now you lay in it. No. I made my bed, I laid in it, and you know what? I'm moving out. I don't like that bed anymore. So I don't have to continue laying in that bed. I can change it. This is where that empowerment comes from. This is where freedom comes from, is recognizing and having the awareness that you are a divine manifestation of the one power. You are the divinity itself, walking, talking, and creating your own life. So why are you going to settle for something that somebody told you 3 generations ago that that's your destiny because you created that then? You made a choice then, right? All choices, I always say, nothing is written in blood. So, we have to create the awareness, be aware of what we're thinking, be aware of where we're vibrating, being aware of who we're around. I don't know about you guys, but when I come into this center and I see all your lovely faces, I might get up in the morning and think, I just love to just stay home and do nothing. But when I am here, this is the most beautiful place in the world. The energy here is beautiful. It brings me from wherever I am to even here higher. I'm vibrating higher. I can feel it. I can feel spirit in me. And that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. I don't want to be in a place where everybody in the room is complaining, because of whatever. It's too hot outside. It's too cold outside. It's windy outside. It's too hot in here. It's too cold in here. I don't have the right clothes. I don't know what to wear. I don't have anybody cooking dinner for me. I went to Mexico one time, and I stayed in this little place. It was in Cancun. Me and my nephew and a friend of ours, we all went together. And every morning, when we got up, we're like, getting ready in the morning, and we'd come out, and there was a breakfast. And it was like a little plate of fruit, some yogurt, and I don't know, some toast, whatever it was, a nice little continental breakfast. And we enjoyed it every single day, right? And when we got close to the time that we were leaving, we said, gosh, I'm really going to miss this place. I'm going to miss waking up in the morning and having someone serve me breakfast. And it was just such a funny thing because we looked at each other, we said, well, are we incapable of serving ourselves breakfast? You know, cutting our own fruit, making the plate look really pretty with a piece of toast on it? Yes, we are. But it's very easy to get caught up in something beautiful, something not beautiful, something whatever, and then have that expectation and then be let down because the expectation doesn't continue because it's up to us to continue it. It's not up to them. I mean, if I could bring somebody home to do that for me, that'd be great. But that wasn't the situation, right? It was enjoying the moment, enjoying that experience, and knowing and recognizing, having the awareness that I really enjoy that. Do I want to continue to create that for myself? That's something to think about, right? Is it something that you want to continue to create for yourself? And that's how you make your choices. If you're living life today and you see something show up and you're saying, you know what, I don't want to create that anymore. Where did that thought come from? What do I have in consciousness? Well, let me change it so that tomorrow or later on today, I'm not having that same experience. I'm having a different experience. And it could be as simple as sharing a cup of coffee with somebody. Like maybe you woke up and you felt kind of alone. And so what do? You say, I don't like feeling alone. I'm going to call Miriam and see if she wants to go have coffee with me. You know? Yeah. So we create that, right? We change that. We change our energy, we change what we want, and we create our own reality. So the hidden cause, when we were talking about that, I think you guys got the drift. It's always something that we may be thinking one thing, but we have this contradiction that's telling us something else. So we may be saying, you know, I consciously desire love, while subconsciously believing that I'm not lovable. I might be wanting prosperity, and yet I'm always thinking that there's not enough. I can't make ends meet. So being very aware and being very careful on what we're thinking and where our consciousness is at all times. You know, we don't only want to say affirmations out loud, and you know, affirmations are great, but we have to align with them. You know, we have to be in them, we have to believe them, we have to feel them, we have to vibrate at the level of that vibration. So I want you guys to ask yourself, you know, what am I planting today? What causes am I setting in motion? So just take a minute and think about it. What causes am I setting in motion? And so just imagine, you know, dropping a pebble of into a lake. And you can see the ripple, it just moves outward far beyond the original point of contact. And thought works the same way. So when you plant something, it's rippling out in so many ways, like a domino game, right? It has that domino effect. One fearful thought can ripple through the entire day, you know? One loving thought can transform a relationship. One courageous decision can alter a lifetime. Never underestimate the spiritual power of a single cause. So today, in closing, just remember that you are not powerless. You're not just drifting through chaos. You know, you are a spiritual being living in a lawful universe. New causes, new effects, new life. That's how it works. New cause, new effect, new life. And so today, let's plant wisely. You know, what seeds are you planting? What cause are you planting? You know, may it be something that comes from the heart, that you're thinking, you know, with lots of love. You're not creating these causes just out of the chaos of this world, because we know there's a lot of that. So we don't want to create from that perspective. We may be aware that that's going on, but it doesn't have to be going on in this sacred temple. So speak consciously and trust deeply. And you're trusting in yourself. You're trusting in your own ability to have that beautiful, creative life that you so much desire and so much deserve as a spiritual being. And so just knowing and remembering, if nothing else, you walk away from here knowing that the law of cause and effect is always working. And it's always ready to create something greater through you. So don't look outside of you. Look at you. Look at yourself. And so it is, my friends. Thank you. So we just move into prayer, just recognizing that divine spirit, that one life, that one presence, that one infinite intelligence, and just recognizing how beautiful it is to know that, and to know that it is an expression of who you are right now. It is an expression of spirit. It is an expression of life. It is an expression that is so individual to each and every one of us here. And just being so grateful that you recognize and that you have the awareness that you are the creative power, that you are the one in charge of the cause and effect in your life, that you are the one that elevates in consciousness at a vibrational level that brings you love and peace and understanding and wisdom and all that is good. And just giving thanks for that. Just saying thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you for all the wisdom, all the gifts. And we just release this into law, just knowing that it is already acted upon. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you, and so it is. This song, Bridget, I'm so glad you're here. Because this song is for you. I wrote this song called What We Find. And it kind of sums up your talk pretty nicely. So I hope you enjoy it. Oh, love. Love is a reflection. Joy is a state of mind, and peace is a perception. What we choose is what we find. Memories of time, traces of spaces and places all intertwined. Thoughts that hold a key, meaning makers, and what it signifies to me. Love is a reflection. Joy is a state of mind, and peace is a perception. What we choose is what we find. Sometimes life's unkind. Closing my eyes, I can see deep inside where the truth resides. Lessons to unfold are in the stories, the tales to be told. Oh, love, what we find. Oh, love, Love is a reflection. Joy is a state of mind. And peace is a perception. What we choose is what we find. What we find. What we find, oh love. Oh love. Oh love.
That is beautiful, Stacy. Beautiful song. Love it. So now it's time for our conscious giving. So I invite you to put your gifts over your heart. You know, we are so grateful for the many ways that you give. For those of you on Facebook or YouTube, you know, there's a button there somewhere that you can push just to donate. We really appreciate all of your donations. It helps us keep the lights on and keep inviting people in and, you know, sharing our stuff with all of you. So we want to read this together. Is it up? Yes? Okay. So let's go. Today I give in love and joy from the overflow of abundance in my life. My gift goes forward to bless and uplift, fulfilling the purpose of our spiritual community. Lives are transformed. I am grateful, and so it is.
So it is. We're so grateful that God is our source. And so sing it out. Remember who you are. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks. For all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. Every little thing I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Oh God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
You might have to play that song every Sunday so I can get my aerobics in. So if you guys want to just extend your hands and just, we just bless these ties, just knowing that God gives us everything that we need. God is the power, the source of all our good. And we just say thank you for it. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. And so it is. So let's make a circle. A circle. A circle. I'm going to go out to the end. Oh, you like it? I bought it in Tucson at the Gem Festival. I'm going to go all the way to the end so I can see. So I can read. Okay. So let's bestow this blessing upon each other and repeat after me. We know who you truly are.
We know who you truly are.
You are a unique way that Spirit is expressing.
You are a unique way that Spirit is expressing.
We love you.
We love you.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
And we thank God for you.
We thank God for you.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. Okay, now we sing the peace song, remembering that right here and right now that there is peace on earth, that we are moving that initiative forward with this beautiful energy in this room, and that it ripples out, and that we are powerful creators. Yes, there is peace on earth. I know it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that expands through me. With God as our power, united all are we. And we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and it begins with me. And so it is. And so it is.